strong.
Hello gamers, it's TreesapJake here with a special video. This time it's an Elemental Shaman guide. So I'm going to be talking to you about everything that you need to know for pre-patch, a few ideas for Shadowlands. I'll be taking you through stat priority, talents, PvP talents, rotation, how to do some big burst, and just a few of my thoughts. So let's begin with some stat priority. So as you can see, I've got a nice little weak aura right above my chat box, right just up there. It tells you exactly what I'm sort of running. What you want to be running though is mostly versatility, then haste, and obviously then mastery and crit. Something that's important, I mean, you need the Versa because we don't have that much defensively. Also, our off healing and our healing, just self healing in general, is kind of crazy at the minute, so versatility really pumps that up. Haste, not so massively important. We don't cast a lot. A lot of it is instant cast with lava burst, but you know, it can't help to have a fair bit of haste as well. Just remember that at the minute, and obviously going into Shadowlands, anything over 30% gets DR'd, so diminishing returns. So there's just no point going over 30%, but get as much as you can. And I think that's sort of really it for stat priority. It's fairly easy to do. Another tip that is quite useful, I haven't got it on at the minute, but during BFA, during the last season, there was a PvP legs that was crit Versa, and the Versa was like 200. Which was crazy. It's a massive amount of Versa, but obviously with crit, and actually in those situations, I only learned this because I had a look through some people's gear. In those situations, it's better to take the crit to get the more Versa on the legs. So actually that's important. So I don't know, going into Shadowlands, or if you're gearing at the minute, you've got a new character, make sure that you have a look at those priorities. Make sure you think, actually, if this has got a load of Versa on and a little bit of crit, I can sacrifice a little bit of haste. That's not a problem. You definitely can. And then kind of get the big Versa, because that'll make much more of a difference in the haste. So that's a little bit of a tip. I don't know whether it'll be relevant for Shadowlands, because obviously you can get PvP gear, but there may be some gear that you need to try and get from PvE. I hope not, fingers crossed, but there's a chance. So moving on swiftly, we're going to take a look at the talents. Okay, taking a look at talents. These are the most interesting changes. Definitely makes Elemental Shaman playstyle a lot better. Let's start with the level 15 talent row. So you've got Earthen Rage, you've got Echo of Elements, and you've got Static Discharge. So previously in 8.3, you take Earthen Rage, and the reason why you would take Earthen Rage is because it procced Gushing Wounds, which obviously, you know, ticks for 20k if you had full Gushing, or 23-ish, which was insane at the time. Earthen Rage now doesn't do very much. It used to break CC a lot, especially if it procced Gushing. It used to be kind of difficult to, if you wanted to Frost Shock a target, Frost Shock a healer, and then Hex them, by the time you've got back and done your damage to your main target, Earthen Rage may have procced on them and broken the CC chain, which is kind of sucky, so I'm kind of glad it's gone. Looking at Static Discharge, you'll never really use a Lightning Shield. There is no point, so it's kind of a useless talent. The next one, probably the best one of all, is Echo of Elements. Lava Burst has 2 charges, and obviously when you proc Lava Surge, it resets the remaining cooldown. And give you that 1 charge, so it's really, really good. Really makes it insane. It's incredible. I really enjoy this talent. It makes life so much but more enjoyable. Good. Looking at the level 25 row, you've got Aftershock, Echoing Shock, and Elemental Blast. Now, Aftershock, I think pretty good for maybe PvE, but not at all good for PvP. You don't want to build your goes around Earthshock. It kind of sucks. There's a lot of build up for not as much damage, unless if you're playing Blood of the Enemy and you do a lot of damage that way. But again, you're basing a lot off a random crit. Elemental Blast. I know loads of people were super happy about this. It was supposed to be good for Shadowlands. There were a few reworks, but honestly, at the minute, everything's so bursty. 1.6 second cast is long. There's just no point. And again, you'd have to be building around Earthshocks with the building Maelstrom, so honestly no point in taking it. The best one and the most fun talent of all on this row is Echoing Shock. Now, it doesn't do a lot of damage on the initial go, but what it can do when it replicates that next damage or that next healing spell that you use, it's insane. You healing surge for about maybe 3k at the minute. Then you get a free one, so you've done 6k healing without using that much mana. You're using lava burst on a flame shock target that does 3k per crit normally, so that's another 6k damage. That's about a quarter, maybe a third of someone's health that you've done in literally one global-ish. So it's kind of crazy. Definitely an incredibly fun talent, and obviously I'll show you the setup before Stormkeeper goes as well later with this one. It's really, really fun. On the level 30 row, you've got Spirit Wolf, you've got Earth Shield, and you've got Static Charge. Now, in all honesty, I wouldn't go for Spirit Wolf. Spirit Wolf, too many people are bursting you. Getting 20% healing, damage reduction during that is not worth it. Honestly, people will blow you up still. People get blown up with double skin from the rest of druids at the minute, so there's honestly no point. You're not doing damage, you're not doing anything. It's just no point, really. Static Charge, again, if you're going to be putting a cap totem down, it's not going to be hitting many people. It'll be one or two, so honestly, wouldn't bother even looking at that one. Earth Shield, however, is incredible, and obviously there are going to be some legendaries and conduits that buff this. At the moment, it's insane. Increasing your healing by 20% on whoever you do it to with it on is incredible. Sometimes when it procs, so it says 621 there, I've had it proc for a healing crit of 1.5k, which is about as much as some of the big damage that a lot of people put out, so it can really keep you up. Like, your self-healing is insane. It's incredibly versatile. It doesn't cost that much mana, and yeah, it's really nice to put on, and it just helps you stay alive. Like, it makes you a lot more tanky. So definitely this one for the level 30 row. For the level 35 row, you've got Master of Elements, you've got Storm Elemental, and you've got Liquid Magma Totem. Now, Master of Elements is kind of insane. It's the one I definitely go for. Casting Lava Burst increases your next nature and physical or frost spell damage by 20%. Your Earth Shock will hit harder. Your Stormkeeper Lightning Bolts will hit harder. It's just a really versatile talent to have that just flat increases your damage, and obviously increasing your damage is the main goal here, especially in pre-patch. The other one I'd say you could probably take is Storm Elemental, but again, it's kind of predictable. They kind of know you're going. It can definitely help with one-shot stuff, but I wouldn't take it. It's very predictable. Again, very similar to the Ascendance build. It's kind of predictable. You kind of know what's going on. And it's just not up as often as you need it to be. 2.5 minutes, that's a long time to wait. The setup, they'll kill you by then, so there's no point really. Liquid Magma Totem, again, it just it doesn't do that much damage. It's AoE, and AoE is kind of been nerfed, so this is kind of more of a PvE talent, but again, I wouldn't even take it in PvE. 1 minute cooldown is 100% not worth, so definitely give that a miss. On the level 40 row, you've got Nature's Guardian, you've got Ancestral Guidance, you've got Windrush Totem. I'd say Nature's Guardian is definitely the best one. It starts you off by when you fall down below 35%, you get 20% of your maximum health given back to you. It's so good at keeping you afloat. That pushes you back up to 55%. Super nice. It's a really good way of if you get in a kidney shot, and with the way that Sub Rogue is at the minute, you can get taken down. You can get one shot very easily. It just pushes you back up there, giving your healer more opportunity and more time to heal you back up again. Obviously, as well as you to kind of do some heals, which is kind of great. And obviously paired with Earth Shield, you just stay alive for a lot longer. And obviously it procs every 45 seconds, which is actually kind of insane. It's a very short cooldown. Most people's burst windows are every minute. You've obviously got that back up every minute. It means that essentially you're kind of healing 20% of your health randomly out of nowhere. Ancestral Guidance could work. I just don't think it's any good. It's a 2-minute cooldown. It's a very long time to wait. Most people's bursts, again, back up in a minute, maybe 2. And more often than not, you're the go target, depending on which comp you're on, so you're not going to be actually able to do anything. So it's really not worth it. Windrush Totem, again, is more of a PvE thing. Definitely good in PvE if you need to get through things or increase movement speed and such, like Vexiona at the minute. That's the only time I'd ever use it. I would never use it in PvP. So onto the level 45 row. I know that Surge of Power, we've got Surge of Power, Primal Elementus, and Ice Fury. I know people have been playing around with Surge of Power. It could be good, but again, building your damage around Earth Shock is kind of bad. Like, you just don't have the time period, the timeline really to work on that. The matches are over so quickly. I wouldn't bother. It's kind of Ice Fury, again, Frost Shock doesn't do that much damage. Again, it's another 1.6 cast, kind of like Elemental Blast. Generating Maelstrom, you're kind of building around Earth Shock again. I really wouldn't do that. There's no point. It's not quick enough. It's not powerful enough. I wouldn't bother. So the best one really is Prime Elementalist, and the reason why is because I have noticed Fire Blast from your Fire Ellie does a hell of a load of damage. It actually pumps so hard. Like, you crit for 4 to 3k, which again is a lot of someone's health, and they can't stop it unless they focus your your Fire Ellie, sorry, and there's just no point doing that. It's such an insane talent, and obviously also with your Earth Ellie, you get your wall, which is really good. Having the wall is the Earth Ellie wall is really good. It's a secondary defensive. It also can stun things. You can kind of stop the rogue goes, as you may have seen in some of the videos that I've done when handling rogues. It's the same sort of concept. You just need it. It's just such a good talent. On the level 50 row, you've got unlimited power, you've got Stormkeeper, and you've got Ascendance. I'd say the only two viable ones are Stormkeeper and Ascendance. Unlimited power, you know, again, it's way too much build up. The haste, you really don't need it. You're missing out on so much potential with Stormkeeper and Ascendance, so I wouldn't really even bother. Ascendance, again, it's a 3-minute cooldown. It's a long time. It could definitely work in some situations, and it's fun to do. I honestly think they should make Stormkeeper baseline so that we can just use Ascendance, as I like big cooldown. It's 3 minutes. It's a long time. And Stormkeeper, you know, does good damage at the minute. I don't think it'll be as strong at level 60, but I think, you know, Ascendance is a lot of fun, especially with that sort of build around Lava Burst doing so much damage. But again, Stormkeeper is the optimum one. 2 Lightning Bolt deal 150% more damage, and you guarantee an elemental overload on the target that you use it. So there is a guaranteed, essentially, forecast, pretty much. It's insane. Pair this with Echoing Shock, and oh my sweet Jesus, it does a lot of damage. It is hella strong. So that's the kind of talents. Looking at the PvP talents, I genuinely just go Lasso, Sky Fury, and Grounding Totem every time. Maybe if there's, I don't know, a monk, I would probably, like a monk healer with Warrior Monk or Warrior DH, no spellcasters, and a Mistweaver Monk, I might switch out Grounding Totem. But again, against the DH, it's really good. I'd probably have to be something where I know there's going to be 0 magic damage, because Grounding Totem is so good. I'll probably take maybe Purifying Water so you can purge, Renewing Mist, and that's quite useful, or Spectral Recovery. But again, I would never bother taking anything else. I think this is just the general setup. Obviously, if you want to go the Ascendance build, you want to take Control of Lava. It's a lot to kind of work off. It's a lot to have to keep an eye on. Obviously, with the Lava Surge, you want the Control of Lava procs, where Flame Shock randomly will give a 25% increase to your Lava Burst, so you can do up to 100% extra Lava Burst damage. So if you crit 3k, if you get up to 75% on Control of Lava, which is overall with the Lava Burst damage increased by 25% because of Control of Lava, in just flatline, you get 100%, so that'll be 6k Lava Burst, which obviously, you know, if you use Echoing Shock on, you're doing 12k instant in one global, which is a lot. But again, you have to watch a lot for procs, and relying on those procs is kind of unreliable, I have found. Better to kind of work off Stormkeeper. So that is essentially the talents and build up. I'm gonna just show you a little breakdown. So I actually did some skirmishes the other day. This is what I did. This was actually a 2v3. The person that was meant to join us did not. As you can see, this is my breakdown of damage. Lava Burst does a heck of a load. As you can see, it crits most of the time around the same sort of area, around 3k to 3k. Lightning Lasso did a lot. I've had that crit a fair few times. Again, with Sky Fury down and with Blood of the Enemy, it'll crit 3k, 4k per tick, which is insane. Normally it will be about, as you can see, 1.4, 1.8, which is, you know, it's meant to do about 6k damage overall, which is, again, a sort of a quarter of someone's health. But obviously that's reduced by defensive and such like that. Lightning Bolt, now this is the key. As you can see there, down where it says maximum 7k, you crit someone for 7k, that is 1 bolt. And normally I've had it where it crits for 7k and 8k and 9k with Echoing Shock. It's kind of crazy. Earth Shock again can crit really high, as you can see. That's because of essentially Lava Surge at the minute. so it'll do a lot of damage that way. Like that's a big crit there, 11k. That's pretty much half someone's health instantly. The reason why, and I'll show you it, although I do recommend you don't get used to this, because they will be going, is mostly because of the Azerite traits here. Lava Shock obviously increases the damage by Earth Shock there. You just stack them, like, you know, that's it does a lot. You know, 39 plus 39 plus 39, that's about, you know, 3 times 4, that's 120. Stack that by 20, that does an extra sort of 1,200 damage on your Earth Shock almost from getting full stacks, which is a lot. So and then again, with Azerite traits here, important, I wouldn't get used to it. It's not going to be there in Shadowlands, but for the pre-patch when you want to have some fun, this is essentially what I'm using. Blood of the Enemy, you want to make sure you have Conflict and Strife, Breath of the Dying for the lethal strikes, and then Crucible of Flame, because that Crucible of Flame dot does insane amounts of damage. I'm not joking, it ticks for like 1.1k, 800, 1.5. It does some ridiculous damage. I'll even show you on this breakdown, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, maximum 10 crits. Look at that. It's just kind of crazy. And it procs all the time, so it does a lot of damage at the minute. Again, you won't have this, so in Shadowlands, there's no point having a look, but I can show you what to do. So if you want to start off, when you go into the arena, this is kind of what you want to do. So you want to get your flame shot going. As you can see, you know, Crucible just procced there. The flame procced is doing a lot of damage. What you want to do is you want to make sure you get your Earth Ellie out. Your Flame Ellie out. You want to press Lava Burst so you get Master of Elements. You want to cast your Stormkeeper. You want to put Sky Fury down. You want to run in. You want to use Blood of the Enemy, Echoing Shock, and then you press Stormkeeper. And as you can see, there was 11k, 7k, 7k. That's a lot of damage. 4k there. I mean, obviously I'm out in the world at the minute, but, you know, I've done this damage in arena. It's a lot. It's insane. And that's essentially what you want to do. And obviously, if you want, you can also press your badge, increase your damage that way. It does an insane amount. So, but that's the general kind of go at the minute. So that's kind of crazy. If you want to do the Ascendance build, so this is the Ascendance one with control of lava instead, this is what you have to do. So you put the Flame Shock on. Obviously you are doing damage. As you can see, where it normally would be an instant cast, it does control a lava, which increases the damage on my next lava burst by 25%. So obviously that increases, and that can stack. As it does there, you see, it stacks again, lava burst 50%. So kind of what you want to do for that is you want to make sure that, you know, you've got the full stacks ready to go. And you just keep waiting for that to proc. Obviously, it doesn't proc to the third row all the time. As you can see, I'm still waiting for that to kind of go. It's a lot of waiting, and obviously, you know, your lava burst is doing a heck of an amount of damage. You know, 5k crits and stuff like that. That's quite a lot. It still hasn't procced again, so you kind of need to kind of wait for that to happen. But once it has gone and you've got something there, the setup is very quick. So you want to put down Sky Fury. You want to make sure that you're done Blood of the Enemy there. You want to start casting the Lava Burst. You want to use Echoing Shock, Lava Burst, and then you press Ascendance. And it does a load of damage. And that's kind of the idea that you want to do. And you just keep pressing Lava Burst, and it just does incredible amounts of damage. And obviously, if you increase that by another 75%, that does a lot of damage as well. So it'll be going up to maybe 8k, 10k, that sort of thing with your lava burst, which is huge. So, and that's kind of the two sort of goes that you want to go. Obviously, make sure that once you've got your proc of Master of Elements, you use your lasso as well, and that will start critting quite a bit as well, especially with Blood of the Enemy up. So guys, that is literally everything. That's everything you need to know. That's a very quick guide on how to play Elemental Shaman in pre-patch, a few ideas with how it should be done in Shadowlands as well. Just remember, things will change. You know, I will do a Shadowlands updated Elemental Shaman guide, so we can have an idea of what conduits you want, what legendaries you want, my ideas and stuff like that. But just remember, just work on your individual Elemental Shaman style. Forget the sort of Obsidian Claw trinkets, forget all of the, you know, the PvE trinkets that you've got. They'll be different. They may still be a thing in Shadowlands, but they may be completely different. You know, you won't have Azerite traits, or you won't have Azerite essences either, so you know, playing with those is fine and all, but they just won't exist. Work on your rotation. Work on what Elemental Shaman is at the minute at its core, because that'll be important. And obviously, if you have any questions, any queries, any problems, any theories, let me know down in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to read them and answer anything you've got. But until next time, peace.